brought their food in. And so basically last minute financing.
So
It's a little. That's organised.
Councillor Morehouse.
Sainsbury's on the list.
We are now live. Thank you for attending. Chair's opening remarks. Thanks for coming. Item 1. Item 2, apologies for absence received. We have apologies from Councillor Graham and from Councillor Fox and from the Chamber of Commerce. Anyone else? So that makes everyone present apart from Councillor Marie for giving apologies. Item 3, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda. Any declarations of interest? Nothing?
Does it count for non-voting members? Right. I don't know whether it counts or not, but somebody who's applying for an extension, their garden backs onto ours, so it does affect us.
Okay. I think it's worth disclosing any interest, because if you comment on it, then it might influence the vote.
Should I leave the room when it comes up, or is it okay?
I don't think that's.
It's up to you. I would suggest probably not, but climate and sandwich maybe.
If you just disclose it when we come to that item. Okay. Item 4, minutes of the Planning Committee. To note the minutes of the Planning Committee held on Wednesday the 7th of December 2022, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Everyone have sight of the minutes?
So move the minutes.
Move to note. All we're doing is noting. Are there any matters arising? All those minutes. So all those in favour of noting? Thank you. That's fine. Item 5, public participation. A 15-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of business on the agenda. Representation should not exceed 3 minutes. Do we have any? No, we have no written representations. Okay, so now we go on to item 6, planning applications. Application plans and papers can be viewed via the Dover District Council website. The first one is reference 22/01584, proposal change of use and conversion into 2 dwelling houses, 1 Potter Street, Sandwich, CT13 9DR. Any comments?
Yeah, I'd recommend objection on the grounds it's converting a commercial premises into a residential dwelling. We should resist such applications.
Yeah, I'll just second that on the same proviso that it's taking away commercial. It's within the area that's designated by Dover District Council to be commercial, either retail or office space, and so it's taking that way, which is reducing the footprint for any commercial premises in the town, which would reduce employment in the town.
Any other comments? I just looked at the local plan as published, Regulation 19, and Policy R1 quite clearly states change of use to residential will not be permitted on the ground floor of any unit within the primary shopping area. So the question here is it acceptable that the upper floors be converted into residential, or should we object to the whole?
That may be difficult because of the National Westminster Bank business that was. That's certainly been converted on the first floor. So,
I was going to say we've got to take, as Councillor Friend says, we've got to take the application as it is. So you can't actually make a recommendation on their application. You can't ask them to change it.
You can't pick and choose.
You can't pick and choose. You've got to either vote on the application that we've got in front of us, yes or no. So.
And there is, although it's offices at the moment, there is potential for that ground floor to be a retail
Indeed,
unit.
Yeah, I take the point about objecting to conversion to residential and not being able to vote on bits of it, like saying, well, you can't have residential on the ground floor, but you can on the top floor. But is there any objection to us making a recommendation or a proposal to that effect? In that there are a lot of shops, I'm trying to think of Sandwich, and there aren't many in Sandwich, where there's neglected space above the commercial premises, barely used as storerooms, storing cobwebs and so on.
Yeah.
All over the country this is an issue.
I mean, policy SP10 talks about the vitality of town centres and encouraging residential above shops, because it brings people into the town centre. So there is a slight conflict there. I mean, perhaps we could say we object to this proposal in terms of the ground floor, but support the upper floors being.
Don't we have to say the application as it sits?
As a whole. Councillor Friend?
Yeah, that you have to judge the application on its merits as it is in front of you. You can't pick and change people's applications. You either believe what's in front of you is good. You can't change it. In terms of the comments you made about the Regulation 19 documents, it'd be worth referencing those that if this body's minded to reject it, it'd be based on the Regulation 19 documents and the prominence it puts on the commercial footprint of businesses within Sandwich.
Yes, I support the comments that have been made. I think we have to oppose the proposal, but the application rather. But we could say that we oppose it because it would involve change of use on the ground floor. But drop a hint that our view on the upper floors is so right.
Refused. Point blank. Okay. So I think, do we have a proposal? I can speak a proposal if you wish, or unless someone else wishes to.
The proposal is to strongly object on the grounds that it's converting commercial premises into a residential dwelling
Within the primary shopping
within the primary shopping area, as per the
and that's in conflict with policy R1 within the published final roadmap.
and then it's really up to the applicant to use his imagination as to whether he resubmits for commercial conversion on the first floor.
The only suggestion I'd make is that obviously don't include it in your official statutory consultee response to Dover District Council, but as an addendum to the comments that we're making, include it in our minutes that the thoughts of the group were that we would support an application that had residential on the first floor and retained a commercial operation on the ground floor.
Yeah, within the minutes. Yeah. So is that Councillor Morehouse is proposing that? Any seconder for that? Councillor? All those in favour? Okay, so that's unanimous, I think. So is that all clear, Caroline?
Strong objects application as this contravenes the
Policy R1, which states that change of use to residential will not be permitted on the ground floor of any unit within the primary shopping area, which this falls within. But within the minutes, not in the submission to DDC, but within the minutes you state that a revised application which does not include the ground floor being converted would be possibly favourably received or something of those words. Okay? Okay, so the next one is reference 22/01585, alterations to facilitate change of use to dwelling to include infill of existing partitions, removal of partition wall, replacement of existing window with new to west elevation, and replacement of existing window with door to north elevation, 1 Potter Street, Sandwich, CT 13 9DR. So the same property.
Ditto.
Do we have the same resolution?
Yeah.
Proposed, seconded. All those in favour? Okay, that's agreed unanimously. Same word. Next one is reference 22/01599, certificate of lawfulness existing for the change of use from retail floor space to residential accommodation. Location 38 King Street, Sandwich, CT 13 9B. Any comments on this one?
Same applies.
Same applies. Same applies. Does anyone know how long it's been not a retail unit?
I remember it being a shop, I don't know how long since it's been a shop.
No.
It's Jervis, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a long time
I think
ago.
going back to the late 1980s.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
about 40
God,
years.
But again, they shouldn't do this by stealth.
I agree.
That's what happened with the properties in Market Street.
Yeah, I agree. And this again is within the primary shopping area.
Yes, yeah.
Just-
yeah, it does. It goes all the way up to Roses, to the wine
Yeah.
place.
My apologies, it wasn't the 80s, it was 1990s, it was Woodbine and Eglinton that's had the,
That's correct, that's right, yeah.
had the premises in the
So-
1990s.
Do we have a proposal that we strongly object?
Yes,
From
one.
Councillor Morehouse, seconded by Councillor Carter, again on the same policy grounds, contravenes policy R1, which says that change of use to residential will not be permitted on the ground floor of any unit within the primary shopping area.
They're obviously stating that it's been in residential use since 2004, so if anyone's got any evidence that it has been used for commercial use since then, that would be very beneficial.
Yeah.
I know this isn't strictly for this meeting, but if people are objecting to it, why do they have to continue using it for residential?
I think it's been recently purchased and they're doing work within the property. I've been prosecuted. But whether it was marketed with the proviso that it's a retail unit, I don't know. Who knows? So that's the proposal. All those in favour? Yeah. That's agreed. The next one is 22/01606, proposal erection of a 3 metre high front boundary wall piers with acorn finials, 1.5 metre fencing, erection and relocation of 2.4 metre high entrance gates, widening of existing driveway, relocation of street light, repairs and rebuilds of sections of existing sidewall, land between 47 and 49 New Street, Sandwich, CT 13 9BB. Councillor Carter.
Yeah, I've got a few concerns on this. Obviously from the photographs it shows a party wall, a listed and listing party wall that does need repair. So I would have, if I could pick and choose, I would allow the repair of the party wall, because obviously that's in a dangerous state. But it looks as if, as well as the party wall, they're putting up some pretty extensive and scary looking erections on this property, because they're taking away the green trees, which is a bit of greenery within our town, which we should actually be encouraging. And they're putting up, I don't see why the wall has to be 10 feet high and the gates have to be 8 feet high. And if you look at the plans that are online, it shows a distinct massive change between quite low gates to very, very high gates and an exceptionally high wall. And it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. If you walk or drive into the town in yellow stock brick, that's going to stand out like a sore thumb.
I went up to have a look at it this morning, and currently there, as Paul says, there's a panelled fence which is they're falling to bits, and it seems to be mainly held up by a chain link fence in front of it, along the boundary of the road. Behind that there's conifer trees, because as you just said, I thought, why on earth do they need something this high? Well, I suppose the conifer trees probably are 3 to 4 metres high, but it is a little bit of greenery. And then it mainly seems to be an entrance into there's a lot of lock-up garages behind it at the back. But it certainly would completely change the outlook of the streets.
Yeah, well, those that are here long enough remember it was the Methodist Church, wasn't it? So there was a big, massive, great brick building there with big doors and steps going up, so it always was. It's only when the church was sold off and the house at King Street purchased it, turned it into garden and lock-up. This was the screen of the trees. I think it's security for the garages. I can understand it, 'cause I think a lot of the properties are on King Street, it's their garages.
Yeah.
And the only thing I don't like about it really is on the left hand, where they bring the wall slightly forward, because it'll affect the garages turning right the cars, and also there's a lady written up the neighbour, isn't she? And if you look, I think they should keep back where it is at the present time, adjacent to the house.
Yeah.
I don't know why they want, because they're going to have the brick pillars there, the gate pillars. So I don't know why they want to bring that little bit of wall forward about a metre. It doesn't seem that. So I think I don't agree with that little bit of wall there, but apart from that, and it's just security, I think, for the the garages.
Yeah. I mean, I read the objection from the neighbour at 47.
Yeah.
And as you say, the new wall will come out up to a metre.
Yes, isn't it? Crazy, isn't it?
Their objection is that it will prevent them seeing down.
Well, yeah, because cars park
Main
in the
Street,
Main Street as well.
To be fair, there is already the low wall and the hedge sticking
Yeah.
out. But the thing that I picked up was that from the plan on the website, it doesn't look as if that bit where they want to provide that new wall is in their ownership. Seems a bit, you know, the yellow and colour coded. So this section here, where the garage is, it's not owned by them. So I think there's a big question mark over that, apart from anything else. Do they have the legal right to build on that?
I think
The difficulty is they have the legal right to apply for planning on whatever they want, so it's applying to demolish the Houses of Parliament.
It's not a planning matter. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I was going to put forward refusal on this, the redevelopment of that, taking away the greenery from the centre of town and putting up such an excessively high wall. I mean, there are regulations, I don't know them off the top of my head, about what height a wall can be when it's adjacent to a public highway, and I thought it was 1.5 metres was the most. So, but 3 metres would be excessive.
So do we have a form of words for that it's out of keeping with the...
Yeah, I would say my rejection would be out of keeping with the street scene of that area. And excessively high, including the gates. I mean, the gates are when you look at the plan, so it's excessive.
So your proposal is to object.
To object
based on those.
To this planning application.
Seconded. All those in favour? Okay, so again, that's.
Not against it, yeah, no. I think it's hard to get it go through it over myself.
You voted against?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's unanimous.
Just to clarify, what was the specific planning reason why you objected?
Too high. It's obtrusive.
Too high next to a public highway.
Out of keeping, massing and design was not appropriate for the conservation area, or words to that effect.
Can I ask, and this doesn't really affect what you've done, but I'm aware of the fact that we can apply for planning permission anywhere on any British property. Can they then go and build if it's not there, if it's a party wall? Surely even if they're granted permission, they can't do it, that's not...
No, you can't build on someone else's land.
It just
Yes,
seems
you've
a
got permission.
unusual mess up and, yeah, okay.
But yeah, Councillor Friend's right, you can apply to do anything anywhere,
Yeah, I'm aware of that, yeah.
because planning permissions are worth money, that's why people do it. Speculative thing. Okay, the next one is 22/01605. Proposal is erection of a 2-storey side extension and single-storey rear extension and demolition of a garage and lean-to 125 Dover Road, Sandwich, CT13 0DA.
Okay, yeah, so this is in my neck of the woods, it's up at Dover Road. I've been along there to have a little look, and all of the work that they're proposing will be out of sight from the road. There's just a little garage, and I couldn't see the lean-to, but at the back apparently there's a lean-to, and the garage and the lean-to's coming down, and on the same footprint, which you could actually pick up from the plans online, they're using exactly the same footprint, so there won't really be any noticeable difference really. So I'm proposing acceptance of this planning application.
Okay. Seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. So we strongly support or support?
Yeah, strongly support.
Strongly
that one.
support. Agree. Next one is 22/01481, erection of a detached garage, 2 Johns Green, Sandwich, CT13 0DE. Deja vu. This one.
Yeah, deja vu. Well, this is quite strange because I went back to the minutes from December, and we approved this in planning in December. So why are we being asked to consider it again? It's been approved by this council, so.
Did we approve a bungalow?
No, that was across the road. This is a detached garage. This is the
I
one.
know, yeah, but I thought we'd also put down on
The detached
There is a bungalow in the garden, yeah, and that's a separate planning application.
But that was approved in August.
So that was approved
Yeah,
in
it's
August.
On the
and
same footprint.
They want to put this garage
where the
in the driveway
Yeah, I know.
to the property at the back, and we all questioned it in December and said, why would you put a garage where the driveway is to the additional property at the back? But as somebody said, I think it's councillor friend or somebody said, you know, if that's what they want to do, then we've just got to consider what's in front of us. So, but it's already been approved by Sandwich Town Council in December, so I propose that we continue with the approval as we did in December.
That's a proposal. Any seconder? Councillor Morehouse. All those in favour? It's approved. Okay, the next one is 22/01561. Proposal of erection of a single-storey rear extension, 33 Whitefriars Meadow, Sandwich, CT139AS.
So this is where I have to declare an interest,
Okay, so you're a friend or a neighbour.
sort of a neighbour.
Any comments on this
Is there
one?
anyone else going to raise? So thank you, Mr. Chair. I did notice on this one, because it is in the conservation area, we used to have I think it was unwritten policy that we didn't allow any flat roofs in the conservation area. And when an application came up for a property in Church Street, St Mary's, late last year, Councillor Franklin said that about the unwritten rule about not allowing any flat roof properties, extensions in the conservation area, and this would countermand that, which we've always said we won't have previously. So it can be seen from the road. So
There is a world of difference between the architecture and the age of buildings in Whitefriars and Church Street, St Mary's. In a way, it's an anomaly that Whitefriars, Meadow and so on are part of a conservation area. It's just a matter of a line on a map.
I know.
They should have realised that in the 1970s. I'd have said a flat roof or an extension on a modern house in Whitefriars Meadow or wherever wouldn't look out of place in Whitefriars Meadow, even though it contradicts a very general rule applying to the conservation area.
Depends if it's visible or not.
Is it visible from the town wall?
It said it's visible from the road in the planning application. In the planning application, there are particular criteria, and there's little tick boxes. It said, would this development be visible from the road? And it said it was. And when I walked through the other day, I did go past the property to see it's on here. But I'm not making a proposal, so I'll leave it up to the rest of the committee to decide.
So is there a planning policy that no flat roofs are allowed within the
Conservation area.
conservation area? Is that a planning
Well,
policy?
Councillor Franklin raised.
It is a policy, like no plastic windows.
Yeah.
So on that basis, we should object.
I suppose. So,
Do we have a
Perhaps
proposal?
we should have I don't think the conservation officer's done anything except better than
there wasn't any.
Yeah, the conservation officer will do a report, and although it sits within the confines of the conservation area, it obviously will take into account the age and appropriateness of the building, and from looking at the plans, it can be very hard pushed to view it from the road. in terms of the properties that are down there, it doesn't look out of keeping. The plans look appropriate for the type of dwellings that are in Whitefriars Meadow. I can't see a reason why it would be refused unless the conservation officer felt otherwise.
But we could object and then
Yeah.
leave it to the planners to.
Yes, I don't know how far it would be visible from the road. I have the same question in my mind. What I would be concerned about is setting precedent and somebody coming along and saying, oh yeah, but you let people in Whitefriars do it, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
If there are ways of making it into something other than a flat roof, might be.
Exactly, yeah. Someone else?
Bearing in mind what Councillor Friends just informed us, you could well be flogging a dead horse. But as a token gesture, perhaps to object, knowing full well that this is likely to be overridden by BBC anyway.
Yeah. So on principle, we should object.
Objects on principle.
For what reason?
Not knowing full well,
No flat roofs in conservation areas.
even though as Councillor Evans suggested that 1970s building isn't going to be judged in the same way that medieval property, etc. St Mary's is going to be.
So do we have a proposal?
I mean, just as an aside, you know, that the enforcement of these rules and planning restrictions, you know, they've got to be fair and proportional. Would it be fair and proportional or even reasonable to enact the same types of restrictions as you would a 16th century building as you would a 1970s frame-up house?
Yeah. But then the rules on, for example, the Fellowship Walk site, the rules on the tree removal is across the whole of the conservation area. You don't say, well, because that tree's in a 60s house's garden, it has less weight than in a, 15th century timber frame building.
But on that note, even the tree protections that are expressly on all trees within a conservation area, there's still the reasonable proportionality of it. If the tree officer would have reasonably given permission for that tree to be felled, would remedial action have been taken?
Yeah.
And well, we all know the answer to that. Not that we were best pleased by it, but it's, yeah.
Okay. So do we have a proposal? We can just take a neutral,
Take a neutral view, leave it
Take
to
a
the
neutral
conservation
view.
officer.
No comment.
neither object or
Yeah.
support.
Raise no objection.
Raise an objection. I'll put that as a proposal. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Yeah. All those in favour? Okay. So that's the end of the planning applications. Item 7, planning decisions. To receive and note latest decisions taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Some of these will be familiar to you. Are there any matters arising from those decisions?
You've got much choice,
No.
It's just, once Dover's agreed them.
It's to note, yeah.
Note the
If you want to make a
decisions
comment.
made. Yeah. So,
Yeah, okay, so they're all noted. Number 8, street furniture applications. To receive and consider any applications made to DDC in relation to a street furniture consent application under Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982. Any applications? No. No applications received.
no.
Noted. 9, licensing. To consider any licensing notices and issues received from Dover District Council. None at the time of issuing this agenda. Nothing. 10, enforcement. To consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. None at the time of issuing this agenda.
I just had one to raise. I'm getting quite a bit of flack. I don't know if Councillor Friends picked up on this, but there's some development happening in Stonecross Lees, and I've had 3 of the residents in Stonecross Lees banging on my door about it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, it's number 12.
Yeah, so there I've been in contact with the senior planning enforcement officer about that. I'm not sure whether that case has been closed now or whether it's still open, but there has been some correspondence going on about that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you could follow up on that, I'll be very grateful for any update on that. Thank you, Councillor Friend.
Are there any other enforcement issues any committee members have wish to raise? Okay, number 11, correspondence. To receive and consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning applications. Anything?
No.
Okay, it's noted. 12, verbal update from our Dover District Council on matters relating to planning.
Christmas was a quiet time.
Yeah.
So yeah, not much happens.
Did you give
And the only other item open at the moment that's fairly relevant is the housing needs survey. So
that's true.
just
Yeah,
to,
that's a
I
good
know it's
point.
been mentioned in other meetings, but it's worth mentioning again.
That's
That's
good.
now open.
The Archer's Loan appeal is next week, is it?
Yes, that is, the hearing starts on the 17th. The first day will probably be opening arguments, and then if any residents would like to speak, you need to email planningappeals@dover.gov.uk. But it will be a fairly prescriptive process. You may be cross-examined by the developers, solicitors and legal experts, but yeah.
Is STC expected to attend?
No.
Okay.
No. If any residents are wanting to attend, if they could send me an email and I'll put them in touch with the residents group that are speaking as well, and then they can potentially work on coordinating their responses to make it flow a bit more and rather than repeating the same things.
Can that go in the minutes?
Have you got some people speaking from the group?
There's about 5 people registered to speak at the moment,
Oh,
which is good. We obviously don't want too many saying the same things over and over. It needs to be succinct to the point. But yeah, obviously there was front page of the Mercury this week as well. So yeah, but hopefully I shall deliver a copy of that newspaper to the inspector at the desk on Tuesday.
Excellent. Oh, well
And our comments were submitted in
Yes.
November time.
That's right.
Councillor Friend drafted something, I believe, that went through.
Yeah. I agree with Councillor Friend, it's best not to have too many speakers, but if, from a previous experience, we were told that if the public gallery can be lined with people who support the residents' comments,
There
it
is
also
a,
makes an impression.
There's a mailing list already that's gone out, and they're doing a great job, the residents group. So if you want to come and hold a placard, Councillor Pennington, it'd be great appreciated.
I'll write it.
Okay. 13 is date of next meeting of the Planning Committee, Wednesday the 15th, 23, 6:30 p.m. This room. I think. Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming.